So let's look at some tips that have to do with running apps. So when you're running apps, there are a lot of different techniques that can make things easier for you, and they kind of work across different applications. First, let's go back to the context menu that we learned in the last video, and notice that if I control click on an file here, and this is an image file, I get open as the very first thing, and that's the same as double clicking. It's just going to open it up in the default app. But I also have open with, and this will give me a list of all the applications I have installed that will handle this type of file. In this case it's an image file, so I have apps that handle images. Some of these allow you to edit images, some of them just allow you to view them. If it was a word processing file, I'd end up with a very different list of apps. But if you can't find anything, if there's nothing there, then you can go and select App Store, and it will actually launch the App Store and show you apps that say they handled this type of file. So if you get a file from somebody and you've never heard of that type of file and you don't have anything on your Mac that can open it, you can use the context menu and then open with and App Store to find an app to handle it. Now once you have apps running, you can force quit them if they're misbehaving. So this should happen very rarely, but like I'm in TextEdit here. Let's say TextEdit is frozen for some reason. I would use Command, Option, and Escape. Command, Option, and Escape brings up Force Quit applications. I can select an application that's running and I can hit the Force Quit button, and that will force the app to quit even if it's unresponsive. So that's handy to know in case you run into that situation. Now all apps have windows, and all windows have toolbars at the top usually. So if you want to customize your toolbar, you can see these buttons here do various things. This is the Finder, for instance. I can customize these by control clicking and selecting Customize Toolbar. This brings up this really cool interface, and you'll see a similar interface in Safari, in Mail, in Preview, and everything that has one of these toolbars. And it allows you to drag these buttons up in here and add buttons that have extra functionality. And sometimes the only way, or one of the easiest ways to get this functionality, is to add these buttons to the toolbar. So you can add what you want. You can move them around. You can add spaces between them to make them look nice and all that. If you ever want to revert to the default, just drag this entire section here up to the top and it snaps everything back to the default. What you see here sometimes depends on what you have installed. So like I have Dropbox installed. Dropbox is now a button there. I can also select icon and text or text only instead of just icons for these. So that's really useful. Now once you have applications running, switching between them is a matter of clicking on windows. Like here I can see the TextEdit window peeking through below. So I click on that and it brings TextEdit to the front. I click on Finder and it brings that to the front. I can also go down to the dock here and say, hey, calendar is running. I'll bring that to the front. But there's an application switcher that makes it much easier. You hold the Command key down, and while continuing to hold the Command key down, you use Tab, and the first time you tap Tab it brings up the application switcher here. I can use my mouse to click on one of these, but I can continue to tab through them. So the Command key is being held down continuously. Tab, I'm tapping. And when I get to the one I want, I release the Command key and it jumps to it. Makes it very easy to quickly do that and jump between the top two applications that are running. You can also hold the Shift key down and Tab works backwards. So forwards and then with Shift is backwards. Really handy and quick way to switch between apps. Now I showed you can launch apps or switch to apps in the dock. Really handy to be able to do that. But not all your apps are going to be there. You can easily add more apps to the dock by going to the Applications folder. Any app that you've got in your Applications folder you can drag and drop into the left side of the dock and now it's there. But say you have this filled with tons of apps and you want access to all your apps there. Well, you can go and drag and drop the entire Applications folder to the right side of the dock. I'm going to show you another tip here. I'm going to Command click on the title of a Finder window and I can go up a level. And there's my Applications folder. I'm going to drag this to the right side of the dock. Try that again. Oh, it's already there. There's the Applications folder that it's been dragged to the dock. If I click on it, it brings up a list and I can scroll through and see every application. I can even see into folders in the Applications folder. If you don't see a list, note that you can choose to view as a fan, You can choose, I'm control clicking on this by the way, you can choose to view as a grid. You can choose list or automatic, which should put it in list or grid if you've got a lot of items in your applications folder, which you probably do. But this is really handy. It's like the ultimate application launcher right there. It's just a small item in the dock.